Alright, in this video, we've already made our light switch, we've already filleted it, we've already chamfered it. So now the next thing to do is add the design to it. And so for this video, it's for if you want to add your own freehand design, you don't have an image in mind, you just want to do something pretty creative. Alright, so the first thing you do is you click Start 2D Sketch, and then you click on the top of your light switch cover. That'll pull it up into a drawing. And then the next thing I like to do is I like to come up to Project Geometry, and I like to click on the top, that rectangle. Alright, this does several things. It brings all the lines that I need to be aware of as I'm drawing into my project. So it's got the edge of where it starts to curve. I really don't want my thing to go down onto the curve of the fillet. I want it to be just on the flat part of my light switch. If you wanted to do it differently, you could. As long as it's supported by a part on the flat section of the light switch, you should be fine. So now I've got my light switch. I'm ready to draw my design. So you just go in and you draw whatever you want to draw. Okay, if I wanted to draw maybe some eyeballs, I'd have to go here and here, maybe, and then draw the insides. Okay. And if I wanted to draw a mouth, I could use the arc. Okay. And I could go with an arc. You click where you want the arc to start. You click where you want the arc to stop, and then you go in and you move it. Okay. So I could do that. And see, if you wanted to change it, you could do that. Just kind of make it work for you. Test some things out, see what you get. I don't like that anymore, so I can right click and delete it. The key is, though, oops, when you are designing something, you need to make sure this is not, see this, so these things up here, they're all enclosed. They have spots that will actually extrude. When you have this kind of like just one line, it's not going to do anything. I can't extrude lines just by themselves. And so what I have to do is I have to come in here and I have to create some sort of second section that can be extruded. Alright? For some of you, and I'll show you this in just a minute after I finish my very funny mouth here, that involves maybe doing, so maybe I draw a diagonal here. Well, then I come in here real close and I do a little straight line and then a diagonal, another diagonal to match up, and that would enclose it. And so that line right there would now extrude because it's got length and width. Alright? So you can't just do one single line, but you can do it if it's enclosed. Okay, so if it's almost like block lettering. Okay, so if you have a straight line, curved line that you want to extrude, you actually have to make two curved lines and then connect the ends to each other. Alright, so there's my design. I did a real basic one. It's up to you. I've seen people do flowers. I've seen people get real intricate with it and do hexagons and things like that. It's really up to you. One thing I will show you, actually I probably should have done it here. If you draw a design over top of one of the holes. Alright, first off, that's why we put the yellow lines in there so that we know whether we've gone over the holes or not. Okay, so maybe if I wanted to make it my nose right there, you can't extrude this section here. And so to help stop that, we have a little trim button right here. And so you can click trim and click on all the line parts that you don't want that are covering the holes. Alright, so I can click on that one and I can click on that one, and it deletes just that section rather than the entire line, which is what would happen if you right-clicked on that line and tried to delete it. Alright, so trim is a kind of a cool button to use for that. Alright, the other thing I see a lot of is it won't extrude because we don't realize it, but we didn't attach it to itself. Alright, so this right now is not a closed figure. Alright, like there's a little hole right there. Okay, and so there's two ways to fix this. You can go in and you can click, and you might have to get real close to it too to see that it's not open. or that it is open, it's not closed. What you can do is you can click on this end dot and drag it up to meet the other one, and you know it's met the other one when there's a green dot there. Okay, that green dot means they are touching. Okay, so that's one way. Or if you just want to do it, I think the quicker way is you come up here to the coincident constraint. And what this does is I'm going to click on 2 points, and it says those 2 points need to be touching. If I wanted it to just touch a line, I could do that. So I click that, and then I click the end point of one line and the end point of another, and it puts them together for me. And that way I could do that over and over and over again instead of clicking and dragging every time I see one. The other thing I see a lot of kids make mistake with is when they draw something, maybe they draw it like this. Alright, and sometimes Inventor doesn't want to extrude something like this where there's this little tail that it doesn't know what to do with. And so, I mean, you can click and drag this point so that it meets, like we just did with when they were open, or honestly I would just come to trim that off, and you are good to go. Alright, so now that I'm finished, I hit Finish Sketch, I hit Extrude, and I click all the parts that I want to extrude. Okay, I would not extrude it more than 0.2. If you extrude it more than 0.2, it tends to fall over or break off very easily. I tend to go for 0.1. Okay, that's just me. It kind of depends on what you want it to do. Alright, so now I've got my design, and I'm ready to get it prepared for the 3D printer and to make my PLTW drawing of it to turn in. Oh, except I forgot to show. Oh, that's, never mind. Sorry. So that is how to create your own design.